Today, I will be talking about cell phone forensics. I will be talking about what it is, some of the technology used, some social and technical issues, some legal cases and legal issues, and the impact and importance of cell phone forensics. So what is cell phone forensics? Cell phone forensics is defined as the recovery of digital evidence from a cell phone or mobile device. And the field itself is fairly new, starting in the early 2000s, and it really gained prominence when smartphones started hitting the market. However, initially, computer forensic techniques were not able to keep up with the demand or the vastly changing technologies. Cell phones hold a vast array of files, such as contacts, photos, calendars, MMS and SMS messages, videos, email, web browsing and location information, and social networking messages and contacts. So some of the technology used, and I have 4 listed here, and one is a service provider. So the first software company is Cellebrite, then we have Parabon, Access Data, and Mobile Edit. Kessler International is the service provider. Now what's important for technology in this field is that it needs to be diverse. It needs to offer a lot of different capabilities and even different capabilities to compete with its competitors. It's also important to look at the operating systems and just what exactly someone needs the software to do for them, as some are better at it than others. The first software company is Cellebrite, and they offer, as do many others, data extraction, transfer, and analysis, the acquiring of physical and logical data, phone-to-phone data transfer, phone backup, and mobile app backup, data analysis tools, and their big thing is that they market more towards federal, state, and local law enforcement and cell phone carriers as well. And they also offer training. The biggest difference is that they also offer a wide variety of options for their software, such as they have a standalone unit, a PC-based platform, or a direct application. Cellebrite offers their training to really any level of competence or ability, and they either have their courses online or on-site. Their online courses are more on-demand and self-paced, really whenever the user can take them or wants to take them. And their on-site courses are led by an instructor and offered in a variety of locations, like Minnesota, Georgia, New Jersey, and even the Netherlands. So someone who goes to Cellebrite can end up with training and certification in areas such as mobile device technology overview, mobile device trends, forensic handling of mobile devices, file systems and media encoding, and more. And those previous courses are some of the courses that you would have to take to receive a CCME through Cellebrite, which is the Cellebrite Certified Mobile Examiner certification. Parabon, again, offers logical and physical data extraction, the restoration of deleted data, data parsing and viewing, password extraction. They also offer training courses. Their biggest difference is that they offer SIM card seizure. They can get the data off of a SIM card. In their training, they have 2 different levels, again, one for practitioners and the other for anybody really studying the field of mobile forensics. They have a mobile fast track course that takes 5 days to complete, and it's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and is taught by a certified Parabon instructor. And some of the skills that they say you can gain from their training are proper seizure techniques, processing and cloning SIM cards, an understanding of mobile device file systems, and proper analysis techniques associated with mobile applications. And at the completion and passing of the course, you will receive your PCME or your Parabon Certified Mobile Examiner certification. We also have Access Data, who also makes FTK Imager. I'm talking about Mobile Phone Examiner Plus. which has standalone acquisition and analysis functions. They support iOS, Android, BlackBerry, Windows Mobile, and legacy devices. And the biggest thing they do is they offer imaging capabilities as well as password bypassing capabilities. So Mobile Edit, they also have a data extraction and SIM card extraction. They things called history, phone book, text, files, etc. They offer support for Nokia, Sony, LG, Motorola, Samsung, HTC, and iPhone, and a few more. They can also bypass passcodes, but the biggest and probably most important difference about Mobile Edit is that they allow you to examine the data of an iPhone without actually having the phone. They allow you to get it through iTunes and through the cloud and through... Now, for our service provider, Kessler International, they offer all these things, but they have an employee do it. And there are no products available through them, but their biggest thing is that everything they do is done under forensically acceptable conditions, and if something came up, you could use it in the courtroom. So some of the things that they offer is their service to parents who may concern for their child's safety, to a spouse who might suspect another spouse of cheating, to companies who might suspect espionage, business owners who hand out company phones to watch their employees' data, or really just any individual that might have concerns for themselves or they might have a forensic need. And again, their inquiries are done under sound legal standards, so it can be used in court. And they do not offer software, but they offer similar services. So one technical issue for cell phone forensics for the field is that there's constant growth and development for mobile phones. Like there's Android Jelly Bean, there's Apple iOS 8.1.2 out right now. So it's very important that an examiner would stay on top of things and have new skills to kind of combat these and to just take everything in stride. And also it's important to know that there are currently more operating systems for cell phones than there are for desktop computers right now. And also, there is no single software on the market that is able to extract everything from a cell phone. So it's important to really look into the software. What do you want? Or to have multiple pieces of software so you can do more things and have more things. And another thing that came up in an article was the connection. Something as simple as that, like on a Samsung you have a mini USB, or on an Apple you have a Lightning. So having the right connection if you're going to connect to your computer. And the biggest social issue is probably privacy, especially when we talk about Kessler International. So I'm going to go to their website. And right here, if you come here, it says Kessler's International. Ability and experience will put to work for you, providing solutions to your most difficult problems. So now you would come down here. This is where you would contact them. And they would give you a free consultation. And you would tell them, like, say, if you were a spouse, you would go here and you would say, I have a problem, and they would potentially look into it for you. So because of things like that, we now have spouses looking into other spouses' cell phones, parents looking at their child's cell phones. Some of these things could be great safety reasons, but there is always that thin line of protecting someone and overstepping and into privacy. Back here, one legal case that I have in front of me is Riley versus California, which dealt with the searching of a cell phone without a warrant. The court had to determine whether or not law enforcement could do this, could search a cell phone upon arrest without actually having a warrant. And the Supreme Court's final ruling for this was based off of two other cases where this happened. Police officers searched a cell phone without a warrant prior to arrest. And state and federal prosecutors argued that they were lawful in doing this because they were worried about potential damage to evidence. They were worried that if they let them go and didn't search it, that they would potentially wipe things or delete things. And the justices came back with that their concerns were not relevant and that they basically needed to come up with new policies based off of sound technological understanding. Also, the sleeping gatekeepers. This was a case where they eventually, the most important of this, they eventually argued that the evidence was not admissible. And they argued that the cell phone forensic evidence should not be allowed until there was formal testing, because during this case they were using the same procedures as they did for computers, but they proved that the processes between cell phones and computers were different. And there are issues because phones do work differently than computers, and they wanted to have new standards, new revised set standards concerning cell phones, and not computers, but specifically cell phones. So, cell phones are a very big part of our society. And in this graph you can see it's 2009-2010, but it's the percent of cell phone owners who use their phones to do the following. Take a picture. 2010 was 76%. Access the internet, 38% in 2010. Send or receive instant messages, 30%. Text messages, 72%. So now we can infer that that's only has gotten bigger in 2014. And there's also new technology every day regarding cell phones. So again, examiners need to stay on top of things, and they have to be current. Another big impact, or the big importance of cell phones, is that there's so much information on them that they could definitely make or break a case or a person. There's a lot to be found on them for most people, but there's also a lot of privacy issues with that. And as privacy, there's no clear definition constitutionally. It's always an issue of, can law enforcement search the cell phone without a warrant? What do they have the right to? Especially if there's passwords on it, the expectations of privacy go up. But there's a lot of potential evidence that can be found on a phone, especially when dealing with criminal cases. A lot of articles I read argued that with cell phones being more and more popular in just everyday uses, they're going to be more and more popular in crimes, and they're going to be implicit in more crimes. So in summary, I just want to hop over to my site. And I mentioned that cell phone forensics is defined as the recovery of digital evidence from a cell phone or mobile device. I mentioned some of the technology, such as Cellebrite, Parabon, Access Data, and Mobile Edit, and even Kessler International, who is a service provider. I also mentioned how it was used and went over training, and also the technical and social issues, such as the multitude of OSs, privacy issues, privacy also concerning legal issues. I went over 2 cases, Riley versus California, and some of the precedents set by the sleeping gatekeepers. Also, the impact and the importance of this is that this is a very big, expanding field, and cell phones are part of everyday life in our society, and they're always going to be there. And in summary, again, cell phone forensics is only going to get bigger. There are going to be more legal issues. There's also going to be new laws that are going to have to be written, and there's going to be newer interpretations. So now I just want to thank you for listening and watching my presentation.